Welcome back, guys. We are into our 69 chapter, that is on voting behavior, and this particular chapter is important for your mains preparation, right? And this particular chapter is very general in nature. You don't have to revise it too many times if you had read it once, and if you follow the Hindu editorials and if you are aware about the political development in our country and the factors on which the voting behavior of people depend, you can very well write an answer, and any type of answer which can be asked and means you are capable of writing it if you follow the current trends and the Hindu editorials. That's all. You don't have to revise this chapter again and again, right? So starting with this chapter, there are various definitions given about the voting behavior in M. Laxmikanth, but I'm just quoting one, and it is by Gordon Marshall. If you want, you can read the rest also, but the gist is same overall, so I'm just quoting one by Gordon Marshall. It says the study of voting behavior invariably focus on the determinants. Determinants is a factor. So it focuses on the factor of why people vote as they do and how they arrive at the decisions they make. So this is the gist of voting behavior, like why people choose a particular type of candidate or a particular or a one type of party. So why people vote that particular party and how they arrive at that decision. What are the factors behind that decision? So the study of this whole thing is called the study of voting behavior, and it has a term and it is called psephology, right? And psephology deals with scientific study of voting behavior, right? And what is the importance or significance of studying it? Look, it helps in understanding the process of political socialization. What is socialization? It means adoption of behavior patterns of surrounding culture. So human are a social animal. We live in a society and we are influenced by our surroundings and our culture, our tradition and everything. We are influenced by them. So likewise, we are also affected by the political developments around us, and this particular study, like psephology or the study of voting behavior, helps us in understanding the process of it, how we are affected and what are the factors which affects us, right? Then it helps in examining how much values of democracy is rooted in elite and mass. Now, the elite class and the common people or the masses, sees democracy totally differently, right? They have different perspective about democracy. They have their own factors for choosing a particular type of party or ideology. So this particular study, psephology, helps us in examining how much values of democracy is rooted in them, right? Then this psephology also emphasizes the real impact of revolutionary ballot box. Now look, ballot box is a revolutionary idea. It gives people a lot of power. Like, so what impact it does have on our society? If we had given the people power of choosing or choosing their own representation, but does it have any real impact on our society or not? For example, suppose the women's, right, 50% of our population, and a lot of women, even today, they vote according to their will of their father or the will of their husband. So we had given our masses the concept of ballot box, but if 50%, or you can say, okay, in urban areas women are free because there is a substantial level of education, so they are free to choose and they choose themselves. But in rural areas, the women are not free to choose. And if the purpose of ballot box is what? To empower the common people. And if 50% or around 50% of our population is not empowered, they are forced or they are not mature enough to select their own candidate. So what impact it does have? So the study also emphasizes on this. Then it throws light on how much the politics continue or break with the past. Now there are developments, there are political developments every now and then. So it also throws light that how the politics continue or break with the past. What are the advancements in it? And it also emphasizes on the measures whether political development adopted modern ways like social media and ad campaigns and other such things and seminars or other such things, or they remain primordial and primitive in nature, right? So the study throws a light on all these aspects of voting behavior of common people, and therefore it is significant. It is important to have or to study the behavior of the people, because it show projections or it can show trends of the public in general. Then what are the determinants of voting behavior? Now again, if you open Laxmikanth, you can find long paragraphs on caste, long paragraphs on religion, and if you want to read, you can go and read, but I already mentioned that this particular chapter is very general in nature, so avoid having so much of information regarding this. You can read if you want to, but it's not necessary. If you are aware of your surrounding, if you are aware about the political scenario of India, our country, and if you have opinion, and if you have good writing skill, the most important aspect, if you have good writing skill, you can you can very well, you can write a wonderful answer. You don't have to read Laxmikanth, or you don't have to come to Laxmikanth 2 or 3 times for this particular chapter. You had read it once, and that's enough, right? So the first factor is caste, right? Then religion, and there is one more feature that in North India, parties are formed on the basis of caste or religion, but in South India, the majority of the party are formed on the basis of language, right? So remember this very basic difference, that in North the parties are formed on the basis of caste, whereas in South, okay, there are exceptions, but the general pattern is the parties are formed on the basis of language, like the DMK in Tamil Nadu, TDP in Andhra Pradesh, etc. Then the region is also a determinant. People vote according to their region, and therefore it results in the emergence of regional parties. Then people vote on the personality of a particular person, like some people vote for Modi ji, and then some people vote for Rahul Gandhi or Kejriwal or any such personality which they feel connected, and the personality which influences them greatly. So okay, the personality is also a determinant, a factor for a particular type of voting behavior of people. Then there are money involved. Votes for notes is a common terminology for it. The candidate gives or distributes money to the voters, and they vote for that particular candidate in favor. So the voting behavior of people are also affected by money or gifts. Then performance of ruling party. Suppose if a party is ruling a particular state for 15 years, there must be an anti-incumbency factor, and people get bored and they want to try different options or a new party in the government. So again, the voting behavior depends or changes according to this particular factor, anti-incumbency. Then ideology. Now number of such people is very low which votes a particular candidate or a party based on a particular set of ideology, but there are ideologies like communism, Gandhism, Marxism, and maybe you are an advocate of democracy and you want to vote for a particular type of party which advocates for democracy, or if you are interested in Akhand Bharat concept, you may vote for a particular party which which talks about Akhand Bharat, or maybe the candidate is a criminal, but you are influenced by the ideology and you are still going to vote for that particular person. So people are influenced by ideology of a party. Then party identification. Maybe you feel much more connected with the policies of Congress and you can vote. You don't see candidate in that particular case. Maybe he's a criminal, maybe he's not good enough in with respect to the other candidates or the other parties, but you are still going to vote that particular candidate because he is contesting election from a particular party. So again, party identification is also a factor for voting behavior of people. Then there are other factors like political events before election, and which type of political events, like there must be if there is a war, like, and suppose there are two possibilities, either we win or we lose. So maybe if we win, right, and the decision was good to engage in a war, the ruling party continues to gather support. If we lose or the decision to engage in a war is not good, the opponent party will gain an upper hand. So political event like war affect the voting behavior, the voting pattern of people. Then murder of leaders. The best example is Indira Gandhi, assassination of Indira Gandhi, right? Corruption scandal like those in the UPA tenure. We have a lot of corruption scandals, and it resulted in ultimately the Anna Hazare Andolan, and then the BJP came in power. So yeah, it does affect the voting tendency of people. Then inflation, unemployment, these factors also affect the voting behavior. Education, poor, you can say the educated people vote for different parameters, whereas the poor people, or sorry, not poor, the uneducated people or the illiterate people vote for completely different perspective, completely different parameter, for maybe for the same candidate or for the other candidate, but their parameters differ, right, due to their difference in the education level. Then habitation is also a factor, rural and urban. Again, the priorities or the parameters or the demands of a person living in the rural area is totally different from that of a urban area, so that also affect the voting behavior. Rich or poor, now again, as I said, the poor thinks differently, they have different perspective. The rich goes for their benefit, they will vote for the party which benefited them the most. So according to this, the voting parameter also changes. Then election campaigns also affect the people, and they shift people from one party to another. Then if someone has a political background, if someone's father was an MLA or MP, right, or if someone's husband is a member of some committee, so if someone has a political family background, that also affects the voting behavior of person. Then role of media, the most common example is Aam Aadmi Party, right? So the media highlights the Aam Aadmi Party during that period, and the role of media we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides. So the role of media is very crucial. Media can make or break someone, and make or break someone's personality, their image in the public. So yes, role of media is also important. It affects widely the voting behavior or the voting pattern of people. So that's all for this particular lesson. Meet you in the next part of this particular chapter. Thanks.